Hello friends, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sana, mrs.perfectly.imperfect.keto, where being perfect is overrated and being imperfect is appreciated. Today is Tuesday, it is May 2nd. We do have a very hectic, busy Tuesday, so I simply just finished homeschooling my kids. At the same time, I've been juggling getting my laundry done because throughout the week, I keep the laundry going because come the weekend, it is one of my biggest rules that I do not do any laundry on the weekends. So I'm actually down to my last load in the dryer right now, so I'm very thankful for that. And also, I'm going to be going to the chiropractor again. I did go to the chiropractor on Saturday, as I mentioned to you all before. I started experiencing some ringing in my left ear. It felt very congested, so it was not painful. It was simply just the ringing, just the congested feeling that I had. And then it also, after about 3 to 4 days of having the ringing in my ear, I did start to experience episodes in the evening of vertigo. Ever since I went to the chiropractor on Saturday, I can definitely tell you, Saturday, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, I had a massive headache. By the time maybe about an hour, hour and a half had passed since I went to the chiropractor, I had a massive headache that I had to sleep off. Then as far as the vertigo, I did not have any vertigo on Saturday. I did not have any ringing in my ear come Sunday, and no headache and no vertigo at all. So between Sunday and yesterday, no vertigo, no headache, and no ringing in my ear. As far as today, I can tell that I have a very faint ringing. It was not anywhere near to ringing as previously before. So I do have a very faint ringing, so that is on perfect timing because I will be getting another adjustment today. And also I wanted to share with you all, give me 1 second, I have someone at my door. So the chiropractor did mention to me that he noticed my body was adjusting a lot more responsive than his other patients that he would see. And he basically was curious because I did share with him that I did get a suggestion because I did not want to go into the whole spiel of explaining to him that I am part of the proper human diet community, and it was basically one of the moderators as well as Nurse Nisha Berry that had told me about the oxalate dumping and the possible calcium crystal that was causing the ringing in my ear as well as the vertigo. I didn't want to get into all that with him. It was simply my first time meeting this chiropractor. So I didn't want to go on a complete rant with him, but he was curious because I did explain to him that I have been clean eating since January. And he was curious of what it was because he said that my body was adjusting so beautifully. He said that usually when he has patients, their bodies are very resistant. So I don't know anything about that line of work when it comes to that component of the medical aspect when it comes to the body, you know, muscular, bones, all of that. So I pretty much kind of just took his word for it because when I tell you, I was cracking all over the place like I had my personal fireworks show going on. So it felt amazing. So even though I did have that headache that I experienced, still yet I felt so just incredible. So going through that adjustment, it was just amazing. The office that I'm going to, they actually have a really amazing deal that they do. So they actually do a membership where you're able to get 4 treatments in the month. And once they basically provide those 4 treatments in the month, if you should need any additional treatments, it's only a matter of like $10. But the membership that I paid for is only $75 a month. So that is definitely not bad to get 4 treatments, 4 adjustments for $75 out of the month, and any additional ones being $10, because I can definitely tell you any other chiropractor offices that I had looked up, it was like $89 or $100, like $99 for a new patient special, to basically have the consultation and the adjustment, and then basically going from there, it was anywhere from like $125 to $135 to get follow-up adjustments. So I was very fortunate, and I just truly feel blessed that we have this chiropractic office available locally. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the yapping because I definitely have to get started, because I do have a really busy evening between going to the chiropractor office, and I do have some scheduled lives that I want to be able to participate in this evening. So we are just going to go ahead and get started for what I'm preparing for this 1 meal a day Tuesday. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and get started here. So I have a lot going on here. So in time, we do have plans for these plain egg life wraps. So I'm going to get into those a little bit later on. But for right now, we have our 75/25 ground beef that I have purchased from Aldi that I showed you all on that shopping haul. And this, as you can see here, it has that nice, beautiful, fatty color to it. So you're not going to see as much redness as you're going to see, say, for example, for like an 80/20. This, you can definitely tell all of that fattiness in here. You can see those larger bits of fat. So I'm going to simply just go straight in. Normally, if I say, for example, had like an 80/20, I might go in with like a little bit of tallow or some butter, but this should be fatty enough that I should just be able to go in as is. Then I do have 3 chicken leg quarters that we have left over from Sunday's meal. This was just those baked chicken leg quarters that I simply just used salt, garlic powder, and some coriander. And that is simply what I have here. So I simply just pulled it all off of the bone. So this is 3 chicken leg quarters worth. I do have some of the sauteed shrimp from my meal from Saturday. I am going to cook this separately because my oldest, our 14-year-old, our teenager, he is allergic. So I am definitely going to have this cooked separately. So we will get to that later. And from those chicken leg quarters, we do not throw out our chicken skin. So on a wired rack here for my air fryer, I do have the skin from the 3 chicken leg quarters. So I simply just pulled off all of the skin. I laid it on this wired rack, and I'm gonna go in and air fry it to go ahead and get that crisped up. So let's get right in with our ground beef. So I'm gonna simply just add in my ground beef here. I'm gonna get rid of the plates. And I'm just gonna push it down here. All right, so we're gonna go in with some of our seasonings. I know a lot of people, they like to wait until their ground beef browns before they go in with some seasoning. For me, I like to just go ahead and add it in right now. So I'm going in with just some garlic powder. So this is simply just single ingredient garlic powder. So there's nothing other than garlic in here. I'm going to go in with some of the ground coriander. So we're going to add some of that to get a little bit of flavor here. Okay. And these seasonings, they comply with the carnivore challenge that I'm doing for this month. So that's why you see me specifically going in with these seasonings, because it's currently what I have on hand that complies. And when I go on my shopping trip again, then possibly I can go and pick up other seasonings that are included in the challenge. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with my salt. And this is just some Redmond salt is all this is. And if you have not tried Redmond salt, definitely give it a try. It is definitely not just a hype that people are doing. It's not a matter of, oh, you know, there might be an influencer that is trying to get a little bit of something off of the affiliation. No, like it is the real deal when it comes to Redmond salt. I did not know until over 4 years ago. We tried it for ourselves and I understood at that point in time. So until you try it, you truly do not know the difference, because previously, before, I was comparing it with a very good quality. I'm not gonna name the brand, but it was a very high, good quality pink salt that I had purchased from Costco, and the Redmond, it beat out what was considered that good, high quality pink salt that I was previously purchasing before at Costco. All right, so this has some amazing fatty goodness that has already rendered out of that 75-25 ground beef. So I'm gonna let it cook down a little bit more, and then I will be able to show you all. All right, and then simply the plans that I have for this chicken is I'm gonna simply just go in and do it the same way. I'm gonna simply go in and saute this, because I don't want to eat before I go to the chiropractor, because I definitely don't want to have a 1 meal a day full belly dinner prior to getting my body pushed on and getting those adjustments. So really, truly, I just wanted to go ahead and take care of getting the ground beef done. That way, once I come home, I can simply just warm this up. That's when we'll go in and saute the chicken, because I don't want to saute it now, because then again, I'm gonna have to reheat it and it just might end up drying out. So we're gonna take care of that later on. That's when we're gonna take care of our shrimp. And I'm gonna most definitely air fry those chicken skins. So for now, we're just gonna focus and we're gonna take care of our ground beef here. So it really did not take much seasoning when it came to this ground beef. I could literally smell, even from that little bit of the coriander and the garlic. I did go a little bit heavy on the garlic because I do love some garlic, but it does not really take much. If you are basically using a really good quality cut of meat, or even when it comes to ground beef, that fat already has such great flavor in it. You really do not need to over season anything. So I know a lot of times culturally, I definitely was at that point where I seasoned until my ancestors told me to stop. You really get in the habit of being heavy-handed on the season, but now I really just love the natural taste when it comes to all the meats. I don't need to get as heavy-handed as much. But I will say, when it comes to seasonings such as garlic, I do add a little bit extra, because I absolutely just love it. Okay, so I think we are good for now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, turn it off, and put a lid on this, because it's just going to allow all of those meat juices to just simply just evaporate only that much more with that lid going on it. But I'm going to go ahead and show you all what this looks like over here. All right, my friends, so as you can see, I simply just have the ground beef pretty much just browned. So what we're going to do to kind of evaporate some of these little bits of juice still here, we are going to add a lid. But as you can see, this is looking really good. And when I tell you, this is really great fatty goodness that we are going to enjoy for this Tex-Mex Tuesday. My children, as well as my husband, they still do keto. So most definitely, even though they are meat heavy now, we definitely want to kind of incorporate our Tuesdays being somewhat of a Taco Tuesday or a Tex-Mex style. All right, my friends, I am back. I actually just literally got back from the chiropractor, washed my hands, and I'm ready to get my 1 meal a day dinner on its way. So simply here, I have the ground beef simply just warming up here. I did toss in a pot just that shredded chicken with the shrimp. And we're going to get started on what I have in store for these plain egg life wraps. So what I did was I simply just took them out of the package and separated them, because in the package they are stuck to one another. They do end up adhering to one another. So you're just going to want to go ahead and go through and just separate them. And simply, I'm just going to use a knife. You could also use a pizza cutter, but I'm going to go through and simply just slice them to make just triangular shapes out of this. And in my pan here, I do have some of the Wagyu beef tallow that I'm using up throughout this week that I had simply from frying those chicken wings. So I'm still using up that Wagyu beef tallow. So that's why when I tell you all, I really do get my money's worth with that tallow, because I do not waste it. I continue to use it. All right, so I am almost about done, and I'm going to show you all what they look like. Okay, so I do have them cut into triangle shapes. So simply that is really all that we are looking for. And I do have my beef tallow nice and hot, so I do see a little bit of steaminess from it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop them in. And if you have not guessed it already, we are actually making nacho chips. So for me, this is definitely a clean ingredient nacho chip that you do not have to feel guilty about, and it most definitely fits in the carnivore way of eating. So simply what we're looking for is just a nice good crispiness on them. So they do end up puffing up a little bit here once they hit that hot beef tallow. And these are so super thin that they do not take much time at all. And currently right now, I just have 6 of the triangular pieces in here because I don't want to overcrowd my pan. So they have puffed up really nicely. I'm just going to allow them to get a nice color on them and to pretty much just crisp up a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is I have over here just a strainer or colander. I simply just have it ready here with some paper towels in it. I'm going to go ahead and put these nacho chips, I'm going to put them on the paper towels. That way it can absorb and actually get a little bit more crispier by having some of that beef tallow draining off of them. simply what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump them in this bowl over here, and we're going to simply go in with salting them. So that is going to be the process that we are going to go through. So I'm just waiting for these to crisp up a little bit, but let me go ahead and show one to you all here because it's starting to get a little bit color on it on one side. So as you can see here, it's kind of hard to see with the Florida sunshine that I have coming through the window. But as you can all see, it's getting a really nice color on it and it's getting really nice crispiness. So that was pretty much my idea. I definitely wanted to go in with these because when it came to regular wraps or low carb wraps, you can definitely crisp those up. They do not comply in my eyes with true keto. Some might be able to incorporate them depending on what their goals are for their better health journey. But for me, this is definitely something that it's not going to be an everyday thing, but for an every once in a while, it's definitely nice to be able to have something like this that we can kind of do something interesting, but still yet have it clean ingredients. And then of course we are in the same week as Cinco de Mayo. So definitely with that, it would be nice to be able to have some nachos or to basically be able to have a burrito or wrap and to be able to benefit and use these Egg Life wraps. Okay, so they do have crispiness to them. So they are currently just done right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just take them out. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and just dump them here on the paper towel. And once they basically sit in there for a little bits of time, I'm going to go ahead and put some salt on this. Dump them here in that bowl and give it a nice good shake with the salt. And let me go ahead and show you all what it looks like. So as you can see, it is a full-on chip, and let's kind of listen for it. So if you can hear that, it has that crispiness just like a chip. So this is definitely a way you can accomplish carnivore nachos. So I hope you all try it out. If you do, definitely let me know. If you have a channel and you end up making this and trying it, please tag me because I would love to see what you thought of this. But I'm going to go ahead and finish frying the rest of these. And coming up next, you will see my 1 meal a day dinner plated up. All right, my friends, I now have my 1 meal a day dinner plated up. So here I simply just have the chicken skins that I simply just air crisp in the air fryer on that wire rack, 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, and they get nice and crispy like chips. I have the ground beef here. I have the leftover shrimp, as well as the chicken that I simply just sauteed together in some Wagyu beef tallow. And here I have the plain Egg Life wraps that we went ahead and fried and salted. And this is what's going to do me for my 1 meal a day dinner. What I'm going to go in with, since I am not doing any cheese, I have simply just some melted butter here. So I'm going to go ahead and just drizzle and have this as my sauce. So I am not going to miss any melted cheese because that melted butter is definitely going to give me all the satiation that I need. So when it comes to the chips, I simply, as you can see, I only have 4 here. When I tell you the chips came out so good and so amazing with the Egg Life wraps that my 14-year-old and 6-year-old have claimed the majority of them for themselves. So I got left over with simply just 4. So definitely give it a try. From my kids, they definitely love it. It was truly a hit, and it's going to be a future meal as well because it just came out only that good. So I want to thank you all for joining me on this Tuesday. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. Take care, friends.